Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the monthly conference on human, territory, and society. Tonight we will hear the evening lecture of Etienne Naveau about some natural disaster through Indonesian literature. First of all, we would like to have remarks from Prof. Yusron Razak, the Vice Rector of Student Affairs of UIN Jakarta. Prof. Yusron, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya atas nama pimpinan UIN Syarifullah Jakarta menyambut positif adanya kegiatan ini. Kegiatan ini bagi kami sangat bermanfaat dalam rangka mengembangkan pengetahuan mahasiswa kami. Sejauh ini, kerjasama kami dengan IFI telah melakukan beberapa hal. Dan ke depan ini akan selalu ditingkatkan. Dalam conference sekarang ini, pengetahuan yang akan diberikan kepada mahasiswa kami ini adalah merupakan pengetahuan sebenarnya tidak baru betul. Karena masalah bencana, kita adalah negara yang sering tertimpa bencana. Karena sering tertimpa bencana itu, kita selalu dalam konteks melarikannya dalam konteks agama. Dalam konteks agama selalu kita katakan bahwa setiap bencana yang terjadi itu tidak terlepas dari dua hal. Pertama, itu sebagai semacam hukuman terhadap perbuatan dosa yang dilakukan oleh manusia. Dan yang kedua, itu dipandang sebagai cobaan keimanan. Apakah seseorang itu akan tetap bertahan dengan berbagai cobaan yang menimpa dirinya ataukah tidak. Nah, ini berbagai hal ini tentu kita bisa cermati nanti dalam diskusi yang terjadi. Nah, arahnya tentu saja, nah di balik bencana itu, sekarang ini kita melihat, menyaksikan ada juga yang bergembira dalam konteks bencana itu. Siapa dia? Para politisi. Siapa dia? Itu adalah para pebisnis. Medianya menjadi laris dan seterusnya. Tapi tentu saja ini bukan dalam perspektif teologi, melainkan dalam perspektif bisnis dan kepentingan tertentu. Nah, inilah teman-teman yang bisa saya sampaikan. Sekali lagi, saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Etienne Naveau yang akan mempresentasikan ini. Tentu melihat bencana di Indonesia yang sering terjadi, bagaimana kacamata bencana itu dalam literatur Indonesia, khususnya Pak Taufiq Ismail yang disorot di sini sebagai seorang budayawan yang banyak melahirkan karya-karya tentang Indonesia. Saya kira begitu sambutan saya. Sekali lagi, terima kasih kepada semua yang telah mendukung terlaksananya kegiatan ini. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Yusron, for the remarks. Secondly, I would like to invite Mr. Mark Pitong as the director of IFI to give his welcoming remarks. Please give some applause.
Bonsoir plutôt. Selamat malam. Ne soyez pas timide. Don't be afraid. It's fine. The Honorable Pak Taufiq Ismail, one of the Indonesian greatest writers. Thank you to be with us today. It's an honor. The Honorable Professor Yusron Razak, Vice Rector for Student Affairs of UIN Jakarta, all the students of UIN also, and distinguished guests. Thank you to be there. It's a pleasure to see many people in the auditorium of IFI tonight. Welcome to IFI and welcome to the monthly Conference of Human, Territory and Society. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Etienne Naveau. Thank to be there, and thank for the students of INALCO to be there also with us. Merci à vous to be with us tonight. Secondly, I would like to thank all the partners that support this event, l'École française d'Extrême-Orient, l'EFEO, l'Institut de recherche aussi pour le développement, l'IRD, Communitas Historia Indonesia, and last but not least, friends from UIN Jakarta, you are all more than welcome in IFI. If it is your first time in this conference, I would like to inform you that the general theme of this monthly conference is social science and humanities. This is a solid example that IFI is not only supporting natural science, but also social science and humanities. Also, the topic for each evening lecture will always be about Indonesia, whether it's about the Indonesian literature, the Pusaka, the Punan people, the ghost of Jakarta, and many more, And even though the title of the conference might seem strange and frightening to you, I would like to remind you that this conference is targeted for general public, even for someone who are not so familiar with the subject. So don't worry, and for the next conference, don't hesitate to invite your friends, your family, your colleagues, even your enemies, no problem. Thank you again for all the team of IFI, Fito, all the people who prepare this conference tonight, all the team of science, and also in the background for the light, for the technical aspect also. Thank you to all my team. Thank you again, and I hope that you could learn something from Mr. Etienne's lecture tonight. And très bonne conférence à vous tous. Terima kasih.
Merci Bapak Pito for the welcoming remarks. Now I would like to invite Dr. Etienne Naveau to please complete to commence your presentation. Please give him a big applause.
I would like to thank, of course, the French embassy, Nicolas Gascoigne, and the IFI, Marc Piton, and the team of the IFI, Pafito, Bu Stéphanie. Of course, I want to thank Taufiq Ismail atas kedatangan beliau di sini. Saya ingin juga mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Profesor Dr. Yusron Razak dan Profesor Dr. Komang. Terima kasih. Thank you. And I would like to talk about natural disasters in Indonesian literature. Indonesian archipelago is often described as a very beautiful country with lovely beaches and beautiful volcanoes and paddy fields, and at the same time as a country of rudeness and natural disasters. Among the best-known disasters, we can mention the huge eruption of the Krakatau that happened in 1883 and the tsunami Aceh that took place in 2004. And such events are evoked in literature. Now I want to talk about two literary accounts of this event. The first one is a novel written by Kwee Tek Hoay, a very productive novelist and essayist from Chinese descent, Peranakan, who was born in 1880 and died in 1951. The second sort is a poem composed by the best-known poet Taufiq Ismail from the Angkatan 66. Puisi tersebut, the title of this poem is Membaca Tanda Tanda, reading the signs. Reading the signs. I start with Kwee Tek Hoay. Kwee Tek Hoay is mentioned by Nyo Yulan in his book about Sastra Indonesia Tionghoa, the literature in Lao Malay written by authors from Chinese origin in 1962, and also in the catalogue by Claudine Salmon, literature in Malay by the Chinese in Indonesia, 1981. It seems that he only learned Malay at the age of 19 years old, and he learned English too. He was a textile merchant, a printer, and a prolific writer. He was very interested in Western literature, especially English, and in theosophy and religion. Drama dari Krakatau, the Krakatau's drama was inspired by Bulwer-Lytton, The Last Days of Pompeii, 1834. Drama dari Krakatau diterbitkan pada tahun 1928. And it attaches great importance to the Indian religion of Badui people. The word Badui comes from Arabic and means Bedouin, Bedouin. It is used to designate, as you know, a sort of ethnic group in West Java. And most of them didn't accept to become Muslim and remain faithful to Hinduism. Badui people live in harmony with the land and are environmentally friendly. So, the story of Drama dari Krakatau begins in 1883, before the Krakatau eruption, with a dialogue between the Wedana of Banten and his wife. She had dreams about the disaster before it actually happened. Her husband thought she was depressed. The facts confirmed her feelings, and when the eruption started, they decided to evacuate their children to the mountainous area of the inland. But they had an accident, and the children were separated. The girl was adopted by a Badui king and married his son, whereas her brother still stayed in the sphere of the senior officials, the Priyayi, a group of Muslim aristocrats who worked for the Dutch colonial power. 45 years later, in 1928, appeared a new volcano named Anak Krakatau, the son of the Krakatau. And there were signs of an imminent new eruption. At the same time, a police official from West Java visits inland Hawaii and met a Badui priest who pretended to be a descent from the Hindu Raja of Padjajaran, who was defeated by Muslim Sultanate of Banten. He fell in love with his daughter, Ratna. But a rich Muslim merchant from Palembang kidnapped the girl and her mother and ran away by boat toward Sumatra, having accused their father of revolt against the colonial power. The novel mentions the so-called communist rebellion of 1926. Having been released, the Badui priest was very angry against her wife and her daughter, and against his wife and his daughter, because he believed their friend They freely followed the merchant of Palembang. He came in his secret cave where he was used to worship a statue of God Vishnu that protects the area. He broke the statue, causing an earthquake and a tsunami. But the police official chased after the kidnappers by speedboat. The kidnappers' boat sank because of the tsunami, but both women were evacuated from the boat and can be recovered. The daughter of the hero met Ratna, who wore a bracelet that looked like her own jewelry. The characters and the readers can recognize that both women are of same ascendants. They are cousins. Whereas Ratna's mother is actually the sister of the hero's father, who vanished 45 years ago. Both sides are satisfied. The Badui priest accepts to marry his daughter with a police official, but he sets two conditions. First, as her daughter is the descendant of the king of Padjajaran, she must marry an aristocrat. And it is the case because the policeman is a Priyai. And the second condition, their first boy must be brought up in the Hindu religion too. But the wise man had to undo what's been done and ask the forgiveness of the god Vishnu to avoid disaster. Thus he decided to sacrifice himself. He throws himself into the well where he had thrown the fragments of the statue of Vishnu. The god is appeased and the nature has calmed down. So, this is the story, and we can notice two main aspects of this novel. First, the writer mentions precise facts concerning the eruption of the Krakatau, which destroyed 60% of Krakatau Island and caused a tsunami. So, I think there is a lot of Indonesian people here, so I can read in Indonesian a passage of the book, maybe in Indonesian. Bahasa Melayu Tionghoa. It's from drama dari Krakatau. Begitulah di itu hari yang hebat dari tanggal 27 Agustus 1883, jam 11 pagi, itu gunung api Krakatau di Selat Sunda telah meletus yang membuat gempar di seluruh dunia. Itu perletusan ada begitu hebat, suaranya kedengaran dengan tegas di Bangkok, yang jauhnya 1413 mil Inggris, di pulau-pulau Filipinian, yang jauhnya 1450 mil, di Ceylon 2508 mil, di Australia 2550 mil, dan di Pulau Rodriguez dekat Madagaskar yang 3000 mil Inggris jauhnya. Itu lumpur, batu, dan abu yang dilemparkan dari itu gunung punya kawah telah terbang ke atas udara sampai 14 mil tingginya dan begitu tebal hingga di Batavia, Bandung, dan lain-lain tempat di Jawa Kulon dan Sumatera Selatan menjadi gelap sama sekali. Hingga di waktu tengah hari orang mesti pasang lampu. Di waktu tengah hari orang mesti pasang lampu. Itu ombak yang sudah rendam antara pesisir Bantam dan Sumatera Selatan hingga 35.000 manusia jadi binasa, telah membuat timbulnya air pasang di mana-mana lautan di antara dunia, yang kasih lihat tonaganya sampai di pesisir Cape Horn, yang jauhnya 7.818 mil, dan di kanal Inggris, yang jauhnya 11.040 mil. Sesudahnya lebih dulu melintasi lautan Atlantis, di lautan Pasifik itu, ombak sudah unjuk pengaruhnya sampai di pesisir California, sedang itu abu halus yang bergantung di udara berbulan-bulan telah jatuh di antara dunia. So it's very detailed. It's precise. The colonial power registered about 40,000 victims, but maybe they were 120,000. He mentions the enormous explosion, the huge wave that reached Australia and Ceylon and Aden. The tsunami is also evoked by Muhammad Saleh dalam syair tentang tsunami. Datang gelombang membuat duka, rumah dan orang habis belaka. The wave brought with it ruin, erasing all people and the houses they were in. This shire is translated by John McLean from Lontar and diterbitkan oleh beliau juga. The ash from the eruption affected global weather for years, as other reporters before. He stresses the darkness. We can mention the shair of Muhammad Saleh, the tale of Lampung submerged. The day was so dark, it resembled the night. Hari nan gelap seperti malam. He also stresses the noise of the booming sounds, the noise of the explosion. But the most important thing is to link the natural disaster with an historical trauma from the point of view of the author, the raw process of the conversion of West Java to Islamic religion. The Islamization of West Java is described as a trauma, and the character of the Bedouin wise man hopes for the restoration of the old Hindu kingdom of Padjajaran. That means too the restoring of the ancient religion. In the novel, Muslim people are described as intolerant and fanatic. The Muslim rebellion of 1888, which happened in Banten, is mentioned. In the novel, Priyayi aristocrats who worked for the colonial power and the Bedouin priest are allies together against the threat of Muslim merchants from Palembang. This sort of alliance between colonizers and groups hostile to political Islam is also evoked in Balai Pustaka novels. Past and future moral progress brought by the West and joined together against the present. In other words, the influence of Islamic values. And the author is just like his work, because he was interested in Western literature and in Javanese wisdom too, and Hindu and Buddhist religions too. And the second work is very different because the Islam is there is a very different approach of Islam religion. Of course, in the poem of Taufiq Ismail, about the tsunami Aceh. And I will ask somehow minta kepada Pak Taufiq kalau bisa deklamasi puisi Pak Taufiq sekarang. Ya, terima kasih Pak Taufiq.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih diundang oleh Pak Etienne untuk acara beliau di sini yang bermakna sangat dalam bagi kita sebagai bangsa. Ada 3 bencana alam yang disebutkan: Krakatau pada abad 19, tsunami Aceh pada tahun 2004, dan kemudian tidak disebut sekarang tetapi sedang berlangsung bencana di Lombok. Sampai saat ini gempa masih berlangsung di sana dan korban-korbannya juga luar biasa. Di dalam puisi saya tentang tsunami Aceh, saya menulis beberapa puisi. Salah satu di antaranya saya bacakan sekarang, judulnya Membaca Tanda-Tanda. Seperti tadi sudah diberikan kata pengantar, bencana-bencana itu tidak berdiri sebagai sebuah bentuk fisik, tapi di belakang itu kita sebagai manusia harus mampu membaca apa yang ada di belakangnya. Membaca tanda-tanda. Dapatkah kita bayangkan dalam masa 5 menit seluruh harta benda kita lenyap, dihanyutkan air pasang tsunami? Dapatkah kita bayangkan dalam waktu setengah jam seluruh permukiman kita digoyang gempa dan hancur berantakan? Dapatkah kita bayangkan dalam 3 jam masanya anggota keluarga berpisah untuk selama-lamanya? Dapatkah kita bayangkan dalam waktu setengah hari di sungai, di jalan raya, lumpur, potongan kayu, bangkai kendaraan bertumpuk-tumpuk tinggi? Dapatkah kita bayangkan dalam 3/4 hari masanya rumah-rumah sakit dipadati pasien berpuluh, beratus-ratus jumlahnya? Dapatkah kita bayangkan 24 jam waktunya berpuluh, beratus, beribu mayat bergelimpangan di tepi, di tengah jalan raya, bertumpuk-tumpuk di bawah puing-puing, bergelantungan di pohon-pohon. Kemudian yang di bawah ditutupi koran, spanduk, bendera, plastik, dan dedaunan. Dapatkah kita membayangkan air lautan berpacu-pacu luar biasa kencang, setinggi tiang listrik? Air lautan berpacu setinggi tiang listrik. Semua dia terjang, semua dia habisi. Dapatkah kita bayangkan tangisan yang keluar dari tenggorokan, ratapan yang naik ke awan, jeritan yang menjalar ke seluruh kepulauan, mencekam sebuah bangsa secara keseluruhan? Ada sesuatu yang rasanya mulai lepas dari tangan dan meluncur lewat sela-sela jari kita. Ada sesuatu yang sejak dulu tak begitu jelas dan sebagai pertanyaan kini bersuara sedemikian keras. Kita saksikan udara Aceh penuh mendung abu-abu warnanya. Kita saksikan burung-burung kecil tak lagi berkicau pagi hari. Kita saksikan puluhan mayat, ratusan mayat, ribuan mayat bergelimpangan. Kita saksikan puing harapan. Kita saksikan puing lumpur, potongan kayu, besi, bangkai kendaraan. Kita saksikan gempa lautan membawa tsunami. Tsunami membawa banjir air mata. Air mata mengantarkan sedu-sedan, sedu-sedan mengantarkan tangisan, tangisan mengantarkan jeritan. Jeritan anak yang kehilangan ayah. Jeritan ayah yang kehilangan anak. Jeritan istri yang kematian suami. Jeritan suami yang kematian istri. Jeritan bangsa yang kehabisan segala-galanya. Mada aradallahu bihadzal mathala. Mada aradallahu bihadzal mathala. Apa, ya Allah, apa yang Dikau kehendaki ini semuanya? Apa yang Dikau kehendaki dari ini umpama? Bisakah dan bilakah gerangan kami mampu membaca tanda-tanda? Ya Allah, kapan kami mampu membaca tanda-tanda dari Krakatau, tanda-tanda dari tsunami Aceh, tanda-tanda dari bencana Lombok yang sampai saat ini goyangannya masih mereka rasakan di sana. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Pak Taufiq.
Suaranya sekarang sudah jiwanya Pak Taufiq. Bukan fisik, kalau fisiknya sudah.
Born in 1936 in Pekalongan, Pak Taufiq's father was a batik trader from Minangkabau, and Pak Taufiq opposes the melawan Sukarno regimes of democracy terpimpin between 1959 and 1965. Sukarno ruled with the support of the PKI, the Indonesian Communist Party. At the beginning of 1966, Pak Taufiq wrote poems for supporting the students who protested the Sukarno regime and organized huge demonstrations in Jakarta. After the change of regime, Pak Taufiq created with Almarhum Mokhtar Lubis, another famous opponent to Sukarno, a literary magazine named Horizon. Tsunami was a national tragedy. Many people were killed, many buildings and archives, manuscripts were destroyed. But the tragedy concluded to a ceasefire between the Aceh rebellion and the central government. The disaster struck the main Islamic region in Indonesia. Aceh is surnamed Serambi Mecca, the veranda of the Mecca, and Achenis are considered to be the most rigorous Muslims in the country. The poem Reading the Signs has two aspects. First, it is a description of the disaster and its consequences. Secondly, it is an interrogation, a metaphysic interrogation about the sense, about the meaning of the event from a religious Muslim point of view. The tsunami, the tsunami is a sudden annihilation. The disaster was unimaginable. Can we imagine? Dapatkah kita bayangkan? So you have an anaphora, a repetition. Dapatkah kita bayangkan? Dapatkah kita bayangkan? Dapatkah kita bayangkan? The writer, the poet, evokes the pain, the cries of the victims. He summons the figures of Ayub and the figure of the Mater Dolorosa. This experience of mourning, this loss of all goods and all attachments leads to focusing on oneself, on one's relationship to the Absolute, to God, the relationship to God, to the Almighty God. The tsunami is a complete loss of the world that must lead the human soul to turn to God, the creature who transcends nature. And the second one, the tsunami, asks the traditional question of the justice of God and of the meaning of the events. What might it be that you require from this example? And there is a quotation in Arabic. ماذا أراد الله bihada mathalan. Apa gerangan yang dikau kehendaki dari ini umpama? And the translation in English is, what might it be that you require from this example? It's hampir sama dalam bahasa Arabik dan Indonesia, misal, but umpama. What might it be that you require from this example? Islam fits in with the natural theology. The Quran insists very much on the science of God in nature. Ayat both means verse of Al-Quranul Karim, and sign, token. Natural disasters be considered as signs that God sends to mankind to incite human beings to repent. They have to regret their sins and to walk again in the way of the Lord. Jalan fi sabilillah. Despite appearances, the tsunami disaster isn't meaningless, but it may be interpreted for a sort of divine punishment and exhortation. Seperti yang dikatakan Profesor Yusron tadi, sebagai hukuman dan cobaan. Saya mendengarkan. Despite appearances, the tsunami disaster isn't meaningless. Taufiq remains very optimistic. He still believes in the justice of God, and at the end, in reward and comfort in the afterworld. The innocent dead babies are waiting, and it's very sangat menyentuh. The innocent dead babies are waiting for their mourning parents in front of the gate of the paradise. Be not sad, mother and father, at the gate of the garden of paradise your child awaits. It's in the end of the poem. And the poem ends with a prayer of repentance and asking God. Beri kami kekuatan untuk membantu saudara-saudara sebangsa dalam musibah terbesar dalam sejarah negeri kami. Amin. Jadi seperti doa. It's a praise to God. So this poem is very beautiful and very sangat menyentuh. Maaf ya, I switch between Indonesian and English, and I would apologize because saya sedikit masuk angin kemarin. Dan suara saya tidak terlalu bagus. Jadi sebagai kesimpulan, we have two different perspective about the tafsiran of tsunami Aceh. Dalam roman Kwee Tek Hoay, Letusan Krakatau is linked with the abandon of Hindu religion and the revolt of Islamic religion. And so we can read at the page 4. Itulah kebencian yang diunjuk di tempo dulu membuat kaum yang menyembah agama Hindu tiada berani untuk dirinya lagi. Hingga kita orang yang tidak mau masuk Islam terpaksa lari menyingkir ke dalam hutan rimba yang tidak bisa didatangkan orang. Saya punya kaum itu orang-orang Badui yang masih ada ketinggalan di hutan-hutan dalam. Bilang sebelah selatan dari Lobak terpaksa menggubat terus menerus, dan itu kebiasaan asingkan diri dari pergaulan lain-lain manusia, sudah memakan begitu keras dan lain-lain. Jadi dalam roman Kwee Tek Hoay, orang Badui digambarkan seperti tertindas oleh kaum Islam dan dilindungi oleh penjajah. Ya. Jadi agama digambarkan di segi politik. But agama yang dinilai positif adalah agama zaman dulu, agama Hindu. And letusan, the explosion of Krakatau is linked with the destruction of the statue of a god, of Vishnu god. Ada hubungan apakah antara meletusnya Krakatau dengan kerusakannya ini patung dewa? Sedangkan dalam puisi Pak Taufiq Ismail, we are the perspective is very different. It is a monotheistic perspective, an Islamic point of view, and the question, and I think it's hampir sama dalam Alkitab orang Ibrani dan Kristiani, the question of the justice of God, the theodicy. There is only one God, and how can we link the natural disaster and the pain of innocent people like bayi, like babies, and the jeritan ayah kehilangan anak, jeritan anak kehilangan ayah, dan jeritan suami kehilangan istri. And it is a very impressive poem, and I would like to translate this poem into French language, because I think this poem is very impressive. It's very profound, very deep meaning, and I like this poem. And I hope you like this poem too. And the bentuk dari puisi tersebut juga sangat bagus. So the question is the link between the justice of God and the sufferance of the innocent humankind, the manusia tanpa dosa menderita karena musibah, dan bagaimana kami bisa tetap percaya bahwa Tuhan, bahwa Allah Rahman Ar-Rahim, merciful God, and how can we think of a merciful God and conciliate the image of a merciful God and the pain and suffering of humanity because of natural disaster. Thank you very much, and I apologize for my voice and my bad English, maybe. Thank you very much.
We would like to open the question and answer session, maybe, Etienne. So for this first session, maybe three first question.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Aceh Hakim from UIN. I really thank you for Mr. Etienne for the research about natural disaster in Indonesia, and I really appreciate for Mr. Taufiq Ismail. This is my first time I saw him to performance poetry. It's really touching for me, and I want to ask you something about natural disaster in Indonesia. Firstly, I'm really interesting about this topic because actually in Indonesia right now have earthquake in Lombok, and it's really touching. But I want to ask you something about how do you feel about this research, especially why do you choose Indonesia, and why do you choose about the analysis about the poetry of Mr. Taufiq Ismail and also Kwee Tek Hoay? Yeah, thank you so much.
Any more questions for this first session? No more question? Directly answered by Etienne.
Okay. Yes, I'm very interested in literature, and a friend of mine who teaches history asked me to talk about the eruption of the Krakatau from literature, from the point of view of the literature, and there is two main books about the eruption of Krakatau. There is the Shair of Muhammad Saleh, which is translated and edited by Lontar, but it is a difficult book, but it's very interesting. It's a Shair, but Shair sebagai reportase. And we have also the novel from Kwee Tek Hoay. I'm interested in Melayu Tionghoa sastra karena saya menganggap sebagai banyak peneliti yang mengikuti Claudine Salmon dan Pramudia Nantatur dan banyak pakar yang lain, bahwa the importance of the Sastra Melayu Tionga is very important, because before Balai Pustaka, maybe 50 years before Balai Pustaka, we have Sastra Melayu Tionga, and Melayu Peranakan are very important. But yang menarik bagi saya dalam buku, dalam roman, it's the very negative point of view about Islam. It's maybe a Javanese abangan, a traditional Javanese point of view about Islam. But the author isn't Javanese, but a Chinese. But it is a very a bad picture of Islam, and I think the point of view is a political point of view, because I think the colonizer don't like Islam, because how can I pergerakan untuk membuat negara Indonesia merdeka, jadi pergerakan Indonesia untuk mendapat kemerdekaan anti penjajah. Most of them are Muslims, and Islam during the colonial area merupakan resistance, a power of resistance, a force against penjajah. And I think maybe the negative view of Islam is linked with the bad relationship between the colonizer and the Islam politic, which is considered by the colonizer as an opponent to the colonial power. But in the poetry, in the poem of Taufiq, it's very different. The point of view is a philosophic and metaphysic point of view, and a lyric, a very great lyric with repetition. Dapatkah kita bayangkan jeritan, jeritan, jeritan. Kami saksikan, kita saksikan udara Aceh penuh mendung, abu-abu warnanya. Kita saksikan, kita saksikan. And it's very great to listen the poem from the mouth of Taufiq, because it is very good. And I think because before learning Indonesian and Indonesian literature, I learned philosophy, and this topic is a very philosophic topic, the relationship between the justice of God and the bounty of God and the grace of God, and the suffering and pain of mankind, and the figure, of course, is Ayub.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Dr. Etienne. Any more question? Wow, 3 more questions maybe.
Terima kasih, saya Sylvia. Dari penelitian Anda, apakah Yang tadi dijabarkan adalah bencana alam selalu dikaitkan dengan kemarahan Tuhan, baik itu Hindu maupun Islam.
Ya, betul.
Ya, yang ditulis oleh
Kwee Tek
Kwee Tek
Hoay.
Hoay maupun puisi dari Pak Taufiq. Apakah Anda pernah menemukan bahwa literatur yang menyebut bencana itu tidak dikaitkan dengan Tuhan? Satu. Yang kedua, yang ditulis oleh Kwee Tek Hoay ini, apakah mewakili eranya? Itu dua pertanyaan. Terima kasih.
Thank you. My name is Ikram. Following up on the question whether there is a literature that talks about the disaster from scientific, maybe scientific, non-religious perspective, but also is there any literature, Indonesian literature that talk about the disasters before it happens, something like mitigation? Because from both examples, they talk about the disaster after it happened, like all the lessons, all the pain, all the.
Yes.
But is there any Indonesian literature that you have studied or maybe you've read that actually something like preparing the people before the disaster? Thank you.
Last question. No, the one, yeah.
Right. Good evening. My name is Arkan. I'm very interested to know. I need to really brush up my history on colonial literature. But where was the Chinese in the struggle? Where was the position of the general ethnic Chinese as relates to the Japanese and the Dutch people at the time of writing this? And also, did you find any references or any notes or any folklore or anything really that notes the disaster from another point of view? As we saw that Kwee Tek Hoay writes from an ethnic Chinese position, but was there any Japanese or how did the colonial write it up? Also, how did the Sundanese write it up, for example, and how did the Baduis react to that? Thank you.
Yeah, please can answer. You could answer directly.
Okay, thanks. I'm looking for my... yes, thank you very much for your questions. I didn't read every books about tsunami, but I think in these examples, memang musibah dan bencana alam dikaitkan dengan amarah Tuhan. But I think the perspective is very different because memang saya kira Kwee Tek Hoay mewakili eranya. Jadi barangkali sebagai orang peranakan kan mereka terpisah daripada kaum pribumi oleh sistem penjajahan. Kan ada orang Belanda, orang Asia, Chinese, Arabic, Indian, and orang pribumi. Jadi sistem penjajahan mesti memisahkan rakyat supaya menang dan menguasai Indonesia. Dan memang the approach of Kwee Tek Hoay is very political, because the renunciation to Hindu religion is dianggap sebagai pengkhianatan dan mesti kembali ke asal, mesti kembali ke asal, maaf, supaya tapi sebenarnya kebanyakan orang masuk Islam hanya the descendant of the Padjajaran kingdom mesti tetap setia dengan agama Hindu dan agama Vishnu supaya melindungi alam. It's very different in the poem of Taufiq, because it's not so simple. We don't ask to God to protect us, and it's not so simple. It's not so simple. I think there is a question, a human question. How can we both consider the pain and the justice of God, and we have to believe in the justice of God, but kita saksikan, but we are looking at the suffering of the people, of the humankind. The second question, before, I don't know if there are books who, I'm sorry, but maybe after the tragedy, you are very shocked. It's very sudden, it's very tiba-tiba datang. Dapatkah kita bayangkan, so kita tidak bisa memperkirakan nanti ada musibah dan tiba-tiba, dan kami tidak bisa memahami, kami sangat trauma oleh musibah alam dan banyak korban. And the last question about the place of the Chinese writers, I think, is it correct? Yes, the place. It's a very difficult question, because I'm not a specialist of the Chinese literature, but maybe the position of China's ethnic group is a little bit difficult, because seperti yang dikatakan seorang teman saya, orang yang disebut Cino Jawa, orang Cina dari Surabaya tapi berbahasa Jawa, tidak bisa bahasa Mandarin, berkebudayaan Jawa juga. Dan dia mengatakan kepada saya, dan I agree with him, orang Cina di Indonesia selalu berbeda dengan kebanyakan rakyat Indonesia, karena ketika orang Indonesia, orang pribumi tetap Hindu pada tahun 1200 atau pada abad ke-13 misalnya, orang Chinese sudah Muslim. Jadi orang pribumi tetap Hindu, orang Chinese yang ada di Indonesia adalah orang Muslim, dan makam di dekat Surabaya, saya kira makam orang Muslim Chinese. Dan sekarang kebanyakan orang Indonesia beragama Islam, dan kebanyakan orang Chinese beragama Kristiani, saya kira. Jadi mereka selalu berbeda dan saya tidak tahu kenapa mereka tidak seperti dan maybe it's a little bit complicated and the relationship and I think too Islam is a very big topic in Indonesia because Islam means a lot of things: religion, spirituality, tasawuf, and politics too. And I think the approach of Kwee Tek Hoay is dipengaruhi oleh pandangan penjajah yang menganggap agama Islam sebagai ancaman karena karena ada jaringan Islam seperti dalam karya Profesor Dr. Michael Lafan, Profesor Dr. from Australia, but he teaches in Princeton, and he thinks the Indonesian nationalism is very linked with Islam and the jaringan Islam sampai ke ya memang ke Madinah, Mekah, and of course Egypt.
So I think last question session. Yeah. Okay. 3 more questions.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak, Ibu, saudara-saudara, kawan-kawan sekalian, baik, izinkanlah kiranya saya, Mega Zulailadini, mahasiswi Pendidikan Bahasa dan Sastra Indonesia UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta, untuk membacakan sebuah puisi oleh karya Bapak tercinta kita, guru kita bersama, Bapak Taufiq Ismail, yang alhamdulillah sudah hadir di tengah-tengah kita dalam keadaan sehat walafiat, yang karya-karyanya akan abadi sepanjang masa. Dengan puisi Aku, karya Taufiq Ismail.
Bisa 1 jam lagi telepon saya.
Dengan puisi Aku bernyanyi sampai senja umurku nanti. Dengan puisi Aku bercinta berbatas cakrawala. Dengan puisi Aku mengenang keabadian yang akan datang. Dengan puisi aku menangis. Jarum waktu bila kejam mengiris. Dengan puisi aku mengutuk nafas zaman yang busuk. Dengan puisi aku berdoa, perkenankanlah kiranya. Terima kasih. Baik, pertanyaan yang saya akan ajukan ke Mister adalah saat tadi Mister sempat mengatakan sangat mencintai karya-karya Bapak Taufiq Ismail. Yang ingin saya tanyakan adalah karya apa yang sangat-sangat Mister cintai dari karya-karya Bapak Taufiq Ismail? Mengapa Mister sangat mencintai karya tersebut? Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
nama saya, nggak usah pakai nama deh. Saya mau tanya, saya sebagai orang Indonesia agak lambat baca karyanya Pak Kwee Tek Hoay. Saya mau tanya pengalamannya bagaimana membandingkan kedua karya sastra ini, kan bahasanya beda banget. Satu bahasa Indonesia ejaan lama, yang satu sangat kontemporer, mungkin bukan kontemporer tapi ya, mau tahu bagaimana pengalamannya membandingkan dua karya sastra itu. Makasih.
Satu pertanyaan lagi dari belakang mungkin.
Hello, my name is Aldin and I'm from the University of Indonesia. I just have one question for you, Mr. Etienne. About our topic. Our topic is about some natural disaster through Indonesian literature. And I just really want to know about your point of view here about this motion. I just have a question. How does literature actually brings a cultural impact towards the society in Indonesia itself? I just really confused how the literature puts the natural disaster here. Is it for some kind of commemoration or to give some awareness towards this society about its event? I think as an artist, as one student who loves literature, I just really want to know about your opinion about it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your questions. The first one, kenapa saya suka dan apa yang saya suka dalam karya Pak Taufiq. Ya, saya kira Pak Taufiq adalah penyair yang terkenal, terkait penyair yang sangat hebat. Saya suka puisi yang Ibu berdeklamasi tadi, dan saya menerjemahkan beberapa puisi Pak Taufiq. Saya berusaha untuk menerjemahkan, sudah diterbitkan oleh Horizon dalam 2 bahasa, Debu di atas debu, dan ada terjemahan dengan puisi aku bernyanyi, terjemahan dalam bahasa Prancis. Saya kira Pak Taufiq penyair yang sangat sempurna. Karya Pak Taufiq sangat lengkap. Ada banyak segi, ada segi politik, ada segi humor, ada memang agama dan spiritualitas Islam. Saya juga suka puisi Pak Taufiq yang diilhami oleh hadis. Soalnya Pak Taufiq menciptakan puisi yang diilhami oleh hadis kudus, hadis qudsi. Ya, menarik sekali. Ya, ada banyak puisi yang sangat baik, sangat musikal juga. Ada lirik Pak Taufiq. Untuk pertanyaan kedua, ya memang dua contoh, the two examples I took were very different because bentuk sastra memang berbeda. Ada roman, ada puisi, masa berbeda, letusan Krakatau, tsunami Aceh, dan sudut pandang penyair juga berbeda. And what is my personal point of view, I tried to understand sastra dan sebagai penerjemah juga sama. Saya kira seorang penerjemah seperti seorang pemain film. Dia bisa berperan orang baik atau orang jahat, tapi bukan dia. Jadi saya sebagai pembahas atau penerjemah, saya coba rendah hati dan saya coba memahami karya sastra di sudut pandang karyawan, di sudut pandang penyair saja, di sudut pandang penulis saja, dari sudut pandang penulis saja. Ya, memang tapi if I would like to say my personal point of view, of course I'm closer to the point of view of Taufiq, because I don't believe if we break a statue you have a disaster. I don't believe that. Saya kira lebih menarik tetap ada pertanyaan bagaimana kami bisa berhubungan, membuat hubungan antara keadilan Tuhan dan penderitaan manusia. Jadi yang menarik bagi saya dalam agama adalah hubungan antara agama dan falsafah. Jadi the main problem of human suffering, which is linked with tsunami, dan Lombok, dan of course letusan Krakatau. And the last question, which is the importance of literature, which is the role of literature. I think literature can help us to ask questions, to look for the meaning of the events, and to meditate and to interrogate about the events. Jadi dengan sastra kami bisa mencari makna dan lebih memahami dan mencari makna untuk kejadian, untuk lebih memahami. Dan barangkali kalau ada makna, the suffering is not so deep, because apa yang membuat penderitaan begitu besar? Karena tidak ada makna. Kan tiba-tiba misalnya ayah kehilangan anak, suami kehilangan istri, dan orang kehilangan semua. Jadi kalau tidak ada makna, kalau tidak ada arti, the suffering is deeper, I think. And so we want to look for sense and to look for meaning.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Etienne. So I would like to close this monthly conference, and I would like to remind you that the next conference will be in 10th of September. It will be the local adaptation in humans, the examples of the Merapi slopes by Michel Raymond. Until then, see you soon. Goodbye.